Okay, so today I'm going to do the Shallac Resist, where I paint onto the pottery some shellac, and then I take a wet sponge and I wipe off the clay, and where the shellac is, where that design is, it stays and actually creates, you could kind of see it here, a raised surface. So when it burns off, you'll actually be able to feel the difference of the textures and the raised surface versus where the clay's been washed off. I threw these a little bit thicker so that when I do wash them off, it won't compromise the integrity of the actual vessel. So the one I'm going to do for you guys is actually, I've coated it in slip and just put a simple design on it, just some squares. If you get a drip like that you don't actually want on your pot, since you're wiping most of it off anyways, you could just come back through with a needle tool, or this is an X-Acto knife, and just kind of clean up those edges. And it doesn't matter if the slip gets pulled away, because you'll see here in a second that I'm going to wash it off anyways. So let me try to get a better camera angle. There we go. So just going to start with a soft sponge. You don't want anything too coarse, and I'm using porcelain clay with this because if you use a groggy clay, like a stoneware, something that's designed to give you a lot of structure, it's gonna, the little pieces of grog, the sand that's in there, will come out and actually start ripping apart your shellac. So what you want to do is stick with a porcelain, color it, and you can see the slip is actually coming off here. So on this one, where the shellac is, it'll actually be a different color than the clay body beneath it. I'm just going to continue to wash it off. And I'll do this a couple of times. I'll let it dry in between washes because it's easier to get the clay off if it's dry. Even with this being a porcelain clay with no grog in it, the shellac is still going to wear away just from washing it like this. So every once in a while you might want to make sure that your design that you have is actually going to stay on the pot. So a lot of thin lines are going to easily start to fade away. So that's why I used thicker lines on this one. And on the other one was thinner lines. Let's see it. And there, that was a full line here, and now it's just a slight little raise in the surface. So I'm gonna keep washing it. Oh, I put a band on the top and the bottom so that I won't lose the integrity of the lip up top or the foot ring on the bottom. Those are the two areas I want to keep structurally sound. And if you want to, you could actually make multiple layers of different varying sizes. You could, after you're done washing it the first time, you could actually go back in and put more shellac on after it's dried. And that'll give you a couple different elevations in the design. So we'll just go through a couple more times. Just kind of washing it all over, rubbing it in all the directions, so all the little crevices, places that the slip might want to, or the clay might want to stay in, gets pulled out. This lends itself to glazes that like to break on corners and edges, like a Shino or a Timoku or something like that, something high fired in a reduction. Usually some cone 6 glazes will break, depends on which ones you're using. But I tend to lean more towards a reduction atmosphere. And just my preference. You can see where the slip or the shellac is dripped down. I'm okay with that. I like a little variation in the the design a little, what do you call it? Collaboration with your materials, so that you're not completely in control, or I'm not completely in control of what the end design is going to look like. So at the end I would just make sure I wipe all that red slip if there's any left on there. And like I said, I would go over this a couple more times. You could see that the surface is already starting to get raised a little bit there, and that slip that was open to the water is washed away. So that's it. Thank you. I just wanted to give a quick look as well of those candy dishes or serving dishes, whatever you want to call them, that I made. Put the feet on. You saw pictures of yesterday. And what I was doing was leaving this bottom here, because on the top I've added this. When I threw it, I've added a little design at the top, and they just kind of mirror each other a little bit. So and I've done that on all of them. You can't really see it on all of them. The oval ones are a little more clear than these, but you can see it on the bottom here, as long as I don't jab it with my finger. But those are those, and you can see the shellac pots over there. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great night.